So in the status field, we're going to be able to get an idea as to what the story is, kind of the immediate high-level story with this particular device. And this is an important field and one that's mostly automated, updated by automated process, right? And so in this case, assigned. So you check a device out to a student and automatically the status field of this device is going to be assigned. But there's a couple other ones that I think are really important to highlight here. Lost or stolen is another big one, right? And so if retired lost or retired stolen, that's got some automation behind it as well. I know that's a really important one. How do we handle that process for lost and stolen devices? Well, when you declare or report your devices lost or stolen, which we're going to go into an example of, we're automatically updating that status field to lost or stolen. Then we're automatically putting it in the lost or stolen OU in the Google admin console, and we're automatically disabling that device. So that's just sort of what's going on in terms of automation of process inside of VIZOR. Obviously in storage, so if it's in storage, then we know that it's arrived. Let's say it's in transit and then it gets to in storage, so we know that it's arrived on site. The last thing that I'll mention there are those retired statuses, right? So we've got a bunch of different retired statuses: sold, donated, lost, or scrapped. We can add as many as we want, recycled, whatever the process is for an individual district when they retire, that can be set as well. So we're retiring them there, and that sort of represents the end of the life cycle for the device. And that can be two stages, so retired to something or just straight retired. It's no longer in the environment, in the district. And I just wanted to mention that because this status field is very powerful, right? There's lots of automation behind that field as well.
Yeah, and I think this is where real differentiates VIZOR from, say, a spreadsheet, where you have a column and really you're just keeping track of what state an asset is in its life cycle, where each of these statuses, then there can be automations which happen when the status is selected. And I think the other interesting thing is that typically speaking, and you did mention this, Jeff, but typically speaking, you're not coming in here and selecting a status. This status is changing as part of a process. At the top, so we can see the majority of our assets are assigned, and then we have in storage and repair state. We can see assets which aren't in any particular location, so we get a breakdown of those. But then we get a breakdown of for each school, how many assets each of those schools have in that particular state. And again, you can filter this by Chromebook. So I could just say, right, I want to see the status of my Chromebooks in each of the schools, and this gives you a nice at a glance report, so school by school, how many assets they have or how many Chromebooks they have and what life cycle status they are for each of those at each of those statuses.
So you have the ability then to do this at the district level, so you can see all of the Chromebooks by status at the district level, but you can also see this at the school level.